Hello everyone. Okay, so today we are going to begin our next topic, that is grave errors of the East. Okay, so basically that is grave errors of the East. Okay, so we are going to cover this topic of your class 8 chapter number 7, which is civilizing the native, educating the nation. Okay, so let's begin. Grave errors of the East. Basically, at that time, as we have studied earlier, that Orientalists were saying that we should make this, we should make that, we should promote Indian education everywhere. As an India native, we would be able to make a place in the hearts of the natives, right? But in spite of that, this thought, there was a lot of opposition towards this thought. Okay, and we are going to learn that opposition in this grave errors of the East. Okay, so it is telling that in the 19th century, a lot of British officials began to criticize the Orientalist vision of learning. Okay, they believe that Orientalist is just, it's useless, wasteless, doesn't make any sense. Okay, they said the knowledge of the East was full of errors. Yeah, here East mentions Indian knowledge, Sanskrit texts knowledge, Arabian knowledge, Persian language, and all this literatures, Urdu literatures, and all of that. So all of these literatures are full of errors and unscientific thoughts. Okay, so they believe that it is full of errors. Okay, it has no appropriation, and it was not even serious and very light-hearted literatures these are. That is what a lot of British officials believe, who were opposed to the Orientalists. Now, they argued that it will be wrong on the part of British to spend so much effort in encouraging the study of Arabic and Sanskrit language. Now, Arabic and Sanskrit language are referred here as the useless waste language. So Arabic language and Sanskrit language, both of them, according to them, was not appreciable to spread around the India and make people know about this, aware people know about this, and make them learn this. They want, because they thought that these are useless, non-serious, and light-hearted. Okay, now let's get to the next paragraph. So you have learned James Mill, right? James Mill was the first person you have learned in this in your book. He was the one who wrote the discovery of the India. Okay, the discovery of the history of the India, three-tiered book in the first chapter, right? So James Mill was one of those critics, okay, who attacked Orientalists. Now, the British effort, he declared, he said by himself that the British effort to teach the natives what they wanted, or to which they are already to which they already respect, in order to make a place in their hearts, and all stuff, to just please the natives, that is really wrong, he believed. Why? Because his saying was this, that the aim of education ought to be teach that was useful and practical, and because he wanted to say that education should be spread which is useful and practical. And if they will spread Sanskrit or Eastern literature throughout the India, that will be useless and won't be practical at all. So Indians should be made familiar with scientific and technical advances. His points were this, that Indians should be made familiar with scientific and technical advances that the West had made. Okay, so Western countries were more, were Western countries were developing and developing day by day, so that was making effect. So that for that, whatever developments are happening in the West, so he wanted that Indians should know about that. Indians should learn about those technologies, about those scientific facts and all of stuff, right? West Aid made, rather than with the poetry and sacred literature in the Orient. He literally didn't like Orientalists, and he had said that in spite of poetry or sacred poems, they should learn the technical technology, the practicality, be in practical lives and scientific facts. Okay, now In the next paragraph, it is telling about that by the 1830s, the attack in the Orientalists became sharper, right? Now it is saying that in the 1830s, there are a lot of opposition at that time. There was the maximum opposition by towards the Orientalists. One of the most outspoken and influential of such critics of the time was Thomas Babington Macaulay. We usually call him only Macaulay. Okay, only Macaulay. So Thomas Babington Macaulay, this person, he saw India as an uncivilized country and wanted to civilize it. Okay, and he said he said himself that no branch of Eastern knowledge, means the Arabian knowledge, the Sanskrit knowledge, according to him will compare what England has produced. Means he thinks that there is no comparison between Eastern knowledge and England or the West and the Western knowledge, because Western knowledge is way beyond from the Eastern knowledge. Okay, so that is why what could deny, declared Macaulay. Now there is a statement given by Macaulay, Thomas Babington Macaulay, that is, a single shelf of a good European library was worth the whole native literature of India and Arabia. So here you see that he is telling that if a single shelf of a European library, means if a single shelf of a good European library from which one can take books will worth the native literature of India and Arabia. He has said, these are his words. He urged that British government in India should stop wasting public money in promoting Oriental learning, because it has no practical use. Okay, it has, obviously Oriental learning is just about to get to know about the history, to learn about sacred poems, to learn about the basic values of lives. Okay, now in the next paragraph it is telling, with great energy and passion, Macaulay emphasized the need to teach the English language. Now, Thomas Babington Macaulay not only just opposed Orientalists, in spite of that, with great energy, with the same energy, he also emphasized the need to teach English. Okay, he felt that knowledge of English would allow Indians to read some of the finest literature the world had produced. Now, he said that if Indian would be able to learn English, if India would be knowing English, then wherever they go, they can speak English and they can read the books, because the maximum books in the world are in English, right? Almost. So yeah. Okay. So then that was his thought. Who's Thomas Babington Macaulay? Now He's saying that literature the world had produced, it would make them aware of the developments in Western science and philosophy. Teaching of English could thus be a way of civilizing people, changing their tastes, values, and cultures. As I've already told you, it was a colonial rule, so obviously they wanted to change their taste, values, and cultures, so many things in India. And why did Babington Macaulay wanted English to be taught in India? Because his thought was this, that if Indian would be knowing English language, they would be able to read all the literatures in the world and could get to know about the science and philosophy made by Western countries, the developments and all stuff. Following Macaulay's Minute, the English Education Act of 1835 was introduced. The decision was to make and now here is a very important thing, that is Macaulay's Minute. Okay, so in the Macaulay's Minute there was a circular of Macaulay's Minute. Okay, and under the Macaulay's Minute there was an English Education Act of 1835. Okay, this act was introduced in the Macaulay's Minute, and under this act Oriental learning was totally denied. Okay, and decision made that English should be the medium of higher education. If someone want to learn more if someone want to have a higher education, better education quality, so he would be able to learn it only in English. And they all under this act they also stopped the promotion of Oriental institutions such as Calcutta Madrasa, which we had just learned in the last video. that was made Calcutta Madrasa for Arabian and Persian languages, and Banaras Sanskrit College for Sanskrit language, Sanskrit literature. Now, it also mentioned in the Macaulay's Minute, it was also mentioned that institutions were seen as temples of darkness that were falling of themselves into decay. So it is a quite important statement. It can also come in your examinations with little grammar changes or sentence formation changes. So temples of darkness that were falling of themselves into decay. English textbooks. Now, as English was finally declared that English would be the medium of higher education, so English textbooks started to be printed in India again. Okay, so this paragraph was complete till here. I hope you got it, and in the next video we will cover the next topic, education for commerce. Thank you, have a good day, and if you have any kind of question, any kind of doubt, please mention in the comment section, and I hope you will like the video. So that, and please mention your doubts in the comment section so that I'll be able to answer your questions and clear your doubts. So thank you. Bye bye.